I wouldn't be in United States if you wouldn't have come to my apartment building and told me, you need to go because I'm going. If you went through F1, then you went through OPT, you had H1B picked, you also had your green card in process and you gave it up.
Visa was not a problem. The toughest decision in this journey of transitioning from the US to India was actually making the decision.
What about pay? Like obviously you were in Bay Area and then coming back, you're not gonna make that much money. Right now, the market condition is horrible in United States. Like job market is brutal. If people are making 25 lakhs in Bangalore or Mumbai, would you tell them to still go to United States? You are also a hiring manager.
If they haven't worked in the industry I work in, I treat them as a fresher. If you don't have the relevant experience, you might have 20 years of experience, you will not get hired as a director or a senior manager if you don't have relevant experience. Today you're thinking you want to come back with your held up a high because it is not a step down.
Before we dive into all the strategies and stories that we're going to discuss in this podcast, let me ask you this. Do you have a clear job hunting strategy to get an internship or a full-time job? Most people don't, and it's costing them opportunities. I've helped over 1,100 students with their strategies through my ultimate job hunting course.
And trust me, I'm not even kidding. I could see so many recruiters viewing my profile.
And it's been the best investment I've ever made.
The content is incredibly practical, filled with tips and strategies that make you stand out to recruiters.
It was one of the best courses that I have done till date.
This course covers everything that you need to stand out. You will get ultimate resume course, you will get ultimate LinkedIn course, networking strategy, access to 1,100 plus job seekers for support, and personal support from me through WhatsApp group. I will walk you through every single step that you need with real examples and the tools that will give you an edge. I don't want you to miss any other opportunity to land your next job or an internship, so check the link in the description. And now I will let you enjoy the podcast.
Thank you, Neville, for doing this. I am excited, more than excited. Obviously, a lot of people know who you are from our first podcast, but also because you are part of my US journey. I wouldn't be in United States if you wouldn't have come to my apartment building and told me, you need to go because I'm going. So I'm excited to have you back, but you're not in United States and you are in India. We are in India right now. Before we get started, let's do a quick intro. Who are you? When did you come to United States? When did you come back to India? And then we'll talk further.
All right, awesome. So I'm Nevil Mehta, and we've been college mates. I like to think I'm your younger brother, I guess. I mean,
Not that old.
look at us, just look at us. But no, so I think we moved to the United States back in 2014, and then last year in 2024, after 10 years, a decade in the United States, I decided to move back to India, and hence now I'm in Bangalore.
Okay. Your story has so many interesting angles. One, like maybe also add like what you do, what were you doing in United States, and then what do you do now also?
All right, awesome. So 2024 is when I moved back, but my 10 years in the United States have been very interesting, a lot of fun. The first 2 years at school from 2014 to 2016, where I did my master's in data informatics at University of Southern California. And after that, after grad school, I joined PwC as a consultant. And I joined them as an associate in their practice where we do Oracle consulting. And it's been a long journey, sort of say. I've enjoyed it. 8 years in the US, 2 different cities. Where I continued to do that for PwC, and then now when I decided to move to India, I actually transferred with them, where now I actually help with the business out here with the same practice, the same team.
Okay, and I want to dive straight into the meat of this, which is you went through F1, then you went through OPT, you had H1B picked, you also had your green card in process, and you gave it up to decide, and then you came back. You were on the promotions, even though you are still in the same company. So why the heck did you?
I know it's a little sort of, sort of say reverse in order, per se. And I completely understand and appreciate folks, who want to go outside of India, go to the United States, get their education there and have a fantastic job, etc., etc. I think I've been very fortunate to get all of that, right from my student visa, and then when I joined my company, my organization after my grad school, the very next year my H1B got picked up. So that was like pretty much in the first attempt it got picked up. And I've been lucky enough that I continue to run through my tenure on H1B. So we're sitting right now in 2025, and my last I-797 was good until 2026. Meanwhile, I think approximately about 3 years ago, my I-140 also got approved. Yes.
Which means you could have unlimited H1B extension.
Exactly. I could have had extension after extension every 3 years, up until I get to my turn on my green card application. So visa was not a problem for me to be there.
It is usually a lot of people's problem, so that's why they come back.
Exactly. Unfortunately, right? And that has happened with a lot of people. But for me, it was, a personal choice. And I just decided to give it up, make the decision, which I think the toughest decision in this journey of transitioning from the US to India was actually making the decision that I'm going for sure. So,
can we go deeper? Why?
Yeah, I mean, see, obviously this could be very personal to a lot of people. They could have personal choices. I mean, we already spoke about how for some people visas don't work, immigration doesn't work. Not the case with me. But for me, it was a very simple umbrella reason, just closer to family. Parents are in India, siblings are in India, and they've been here all their lives. So have I before I moved to the US. So for me and my parents and my family, as they get older, it's impractical for them to keep visiting me for longer durations of time when they have their jobs here, their business here, their lives here, their families here, etc., etc. So they kind of become dependent out there, and to be honest, sometimes they just get bored. Having said that, so moving them out to the US was never an option really for me. And
moving out of
India to the US, correct. So that was like never really an option that I wanted my parents to go through at this age. Again, personal choice, works for some, doesn't work for some, and it's completely fine. But my other perspective was, I'm young enough, I could make the change, I can, start life again in India after a decade in the US. I think I got enough experiences for 10 years, made amazing friends, amazing memories, good career, good experiences. So I think I was at a point where I think that I would rather move now for two reasons. One, I would rather move now when my parents are healthy and I'm able to enjoy life with them versus move at a later period. And second point being, I feel that as I would have gotten older, it would have been more difficult for me to adjust again in a new environment, in a new city. So I thought it's easier for me to adjust now versus later.
And do you regret that decision? It's been a year.
It's been a year. In fact, I think it was March of 2024 that I flew in to Bangalore, the end of March 2024. So I just completed 13 months now. I don't think I've regretted it, to be honest, any single day. I mean, sure, every place has pros and cons. Every country, every city, the social situation, the political situation, the environment's different, the air quality is different. I get all of that. But have I regretted it? No. Because, again, like I said, my umbrella reason has been very clear and why I wanted to move. So you lose some, you win some.
Were you at all, I mean, I know you personally, so I obviously know this didn't bother you, but were you at all worried about what will society think? Because for society, this would be like a setback or a failure. People go there when you are coming back and you have your green card in process and you're leaving that and coming back. So were you afraid what other people are going to think and say and all of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point. Short answer is no, of course. Again, I think the way our entire student community over the years have seen the Western hemisphere of the world as a step up in life. Definitely, education wise, from a tech market and a job perspective, it's great. It's definitely better in a lot of senses from here. But is it a step down to come back? I don't think so. For the main reason being that I've gotten my experiences there, right? I've grown a lot there. How I see it is I get to come back here and I get to share that knowledge with my people here, with my team here, with any organization I'm part of. Currently with my team, I'm able to help upskill people who are not going there. So I see that as a major positive. And again, like, I wouldn't think of it as a step down also because there is so much more potential in India in the tech space. There is so much money, there is so much growth. The Western zone's moving towards so much business and leverage in India. So if I mean,
It's the best time to do
it's
it.
a great time to be out here. There's just so much out there to do.
What about pay? Like, obviously, you were in Bay Area, and I'm guessing that you were probably making close to 200K or so. And then coming back, you're not going to make that much money. That's my guess as well in India. And so did that, like, at all bother you that, oh, I'm going to take a major pay cut?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's really important here is just understanding purchase power parity. So what that really means is, for every $100,000 I earn in the US, how much money do I need to earn in India to live a similar quality of life? So it's never that if I make 200,000 in the US, 200,000 into approximately 90, I need to make that much money, 1.8 crores in India, for example. That's not the case, right? It doesn't work that way. It is never a direct conversion. So I think that sort of myth needs to be busted. So what is important is, for every 100,000, based on my research at the time, on an average, anywhere between 23 to 28 lakhs is the purchase power parity to get a similar life. So if you're earning 200,000 in the US, you make 50 lakhs in India, life is great, life is convenient. You in fact end up being in the, I mean, that's just a statistic that I read recently. You end up being in the top 10% earning population in India, which is a good place to be in terms of financial independence.
Yeah. And also I've heard this from other people when I did this similar Back to India podcast. They also said it's also not how much money you're making, how much you're saving. And they were also from Bay Area in Sunnyvale. So they're like, I'm saving more in India because they have a home and everything. So versus what I was saving in Bay Area, which probably is similar to in your situation as well. Like, even though you're not making 2 crores, maybe you will someday, but you will still save more money here.
Yeah, I mean, see, it's again relative and a very personal thing depending on how you live your life, right? So, but I do agree. It's what's important is how much I'm saving at the end of the day.
And the
ratio.
potential.
Exactly, the saving potential, the growth potential. There are so many aspects to this. So, for example, if I saved, let's say, 30% of my income, in-hand income in the US, am I able to save 30% in India? You know what? Probably more. Because there are some of the basic things out here are relatively cheaper, which are not the case in the US. And again, you choose where you want to live, you choose how much rent you want to pay. If you are in a city where you're living with your parents and you do want to live together, that's immediate savings right there. So you do end up saving a little bit more, net.
Yeah, your money goes way far over here.
Correct. I mean, again, if you meet purchase power parity, you're able to save more, right? But if you're under the curve, then it could be challenging, or it could be similar to the US, if not more. But yes, the growth potential here is also bigger when it comes to, I mean, see, India has a very high percentage of inflation. US has seen that over the last few years as well, which has been the case in both countries. But at the same time, you do yield a considerable percentage to try and beat inflation when you try to invest in the markets here. So that kind of also helps a little bit.
Yeah. Would you change at all? Like, now that you have lived 10 years in United States, a year back, career in India, would you change, like you would not go to United States at all?
You know what? Probably no. No, I mean, I wouldn't change a
still
thing.
go.
Yeah, I wouldn't change a thing because it's a great experience. See, the most impressive thing is the education system, right? Going to grad school there, and I'm sure if I went for undergrad, that would be great as well. But going for grad school, that experience was mind blowing, just because of the difference in the schooling system, the education system, in the way it's taught versus the way you're giving your exams. It's really important what you understand versus just trying to memorize something and put it on paper.
And the personal growth.
You're independent. I never lived away from home as a kid until and unless I flew to the US. So you grow so much, you learn so much.
Washed clothes, made food.
Exactly. I mean, we've been fortunate and privileged that way, but I think it's very important for everybody to try and experience and live alone once in their lives. I do think that's important.
But right now, the market condition is horrible in United States. Like job market is brutal. If people are making 25 lakhs in Bangalore or Mumbai, would you tell them to still go to United States or wait and watch how things go?
Yeah, I mean, see, it's tricky. There's never a sort of like a good answer for it, but I do think that there is upside in going if you can make it there. One, mainly because, say, assuming you have, like, say, a 25 lakh job, right? I'm pretty sure that individual's goals would be to double that in a couple years time, so to say, or in the near future. But if you're going for your master's or your grad school, I do think it's a good investment, mainly because what you learn, what you come out with, the job potential in general has been good over the years. It is a dip right now. The market is a little bad. It really depends on what industry you're going into as well, because there are industries who are hiring even right now. However, there are industries that are not hiring right now. So it's a give and take.
I've been in general advising that if you do not have work experience, you should absolutely not go. Get some work experience in India. If you're not able to get a job in India, you are most likely not going to be able to get it in United States. Over here, you don't have visa restriction. Over there, you do. Someone has to not only just pay you, but also sponsor you.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. I mean, to your point, if you have the work experience behind you, that helps. Absolutely helps. In most cases, helps in landing a job. In my case, even though I had just the 1 year of work experience before I went out there, it actually helped me in my promotion as well, because I was able to say that I come with additional experience. So I think I'm ready, I have the maturity, and I don't need to wait like an additional 6 months or 1 year, just because. Okay.
Moving on to you moved here. I want to talk two things. One is the work culture differences, pros and cons, if both the places. But before that, logistics. What do you have to do? Like you are moving, you're shutting your life in United States. Like from logistics standpoint, like how does it all work? Like do you tell your company before? How does that all work? And let's say if someone is watching this and they get inspired, they are like that thought. We are provoking a thought like, oh, that's right, maybe I should be with my parents too. And they are at this point, what should be a roadmap for them? Is it first to figure out they have a job situation? I'm assuming that is true. Don't come without a job. But, and then what are all the next steps?
Yeah, I mean, see, the good thing about this is you're going back to a country where you don't need a visa, assuming you have an Indian passport. So that makes things a little simpler. What I do recommend, like you said, see, in my situation, I was actually ready to move with or without a job, just because I was ready to move. But I did want to stay with my job, and I did want to continue to be a part of it. So that's when I spoke with my bosses. So that's the first thing I did, to check in with my company if there was a possibility for me to transfer. And I was so grateful that they made it happen. And they opened up a role for me out here, and we went through that entire process. And I knew that I had a job before moving here, which I was transferring with my team. So that definitely is very, very important, because then you have continued income, etc., etc. You have inflow of money.
Yeah.
And obviously a job.
Was there also a number? Like I know you were at the point where even if I don't have a job, I'll figure out when I land here. But in your case, you did end up getting a transfer or something. But did you think about like calculate a number that this is the number I need to have at least?
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of goes back to the purchase power parity point. I think my goal was what I made in the US. I wanted to beat purchase power parity, at least meet it, if not beat it. And I think I ended up fairly happy with what I was offered. There's always negotiations that keep going to and fro, but I was very happy with it. And to be honest, since I had made up my mind, I was gonna take it. Could I be paid more? Probably yes. Don't we all think so? But yeah, I think the fact that I was just ready, and the closer it got to what I wanted, I took it and I just ran with it.
Okay, so in your case, you had some number at least meet the purchase power parity or beat it. Then talking to the bosses to make sure, even in your case obviously worked out, but if then, would you recommend people, again I think it's very subjective, but would you still recommend people to find a job before they move? Or
so again, like you said, subjective. If you can transfer within your company, let's say if that's even like 10% lower than your expectation, 20% lower than your expectation, I think it's still worth taking it.
Because then you can hop it after you
correct.
come here.
You can always look for a job here. So having that influx of money is always easier. And like we said, if you're living with your parents here, you might have considerable savings. Depending on the city you live in, your daily expenditure, your rental expenditure might be less. So that might help you. I've seen situations where there is a couple who, my friends, they're a married couple who moved back. One of them had a job, the other did not. They still decided to do it because you still have one inflow of money. So I do recommend having something secured enough, so you can always come here and apply again.
Nice. Okay. So then job is figured out. Like, okay, I either have it or at least have some form of income coming in when I land here. What's the next logistic steps did you have to take care of?
Yeah, I mean, see, now that I know that I have the job, second thing you need to start doing is trying to wind up things with your current company or your company in the US, whatever you're doing with your team. I mean, we don't need to go into details of what you need to do with your team, but there are some very important things that I learned which actually helped me. For example, the great thing about a lot of places in the world, including the US, is that if you have vacation balance, you get paid out. So I was like, you know what? I have a lot of vacation balance, so I'm just happy I'm gonna get paid out for that. So that happened. That kind of added to my savings a little bit. But I think the big thing is transferring your stuff from there. If you are transferring stuff from there, like your luggage, your goods, your belongings, and things like that. So that is I think the biggest logistical item in terms of the laundry list of things to do. So what I ended up doing is I hired a company that comes home, boxes and packs everything, takes it with them, loads it on a ship in a container. That ship sails to come to India, and they take all the stuff, go through immigration and customs here to if I need to pay custom duty on products. It helps to keep bills of things that you're sending, especially electronics and stuff, because you do have to pay custom duty on that, even if it's used. And they deliver it to my home, they unpack it, they put it in the rooms wherever I ask them to, they clean it, they leave. So they do all the work.
Interesting, okay.
Yes. Yeah. But depending on how much stuff you have, it could be a lot of work. And that whole process could take up to from 2 to 4 months for them to come, pack and deliver. It could range anywhere from 2 to 4 months, because
I'm assuming the packing and unpacking is not long.
Those are a few hours. I think it's them loading it into the container, the ship sailing and coming to India, going through customs. That takes a little bit of time.
How, give us the range, how expensive is this?
So how they calculate, so there's a couple options what I've seen in my research. If you have an organization that operates in both the countries, it's cheaper. So it's good to have a company that are in both countries, so you don't have to do tie-ups and pay more. You could either send just boxes of clothes, no electronics in it, and they will charge you per box on an average $100 a box, $120 a box. But you need to commit to at least 10 boxes or 20 boxes or something like that. But if you want to send electronics, like I send my golf kit, my tennis bag, my desk, my office chair, my working screens, my entire music setup. I send so many things. So they do it by cubic meters in volume in the container. So about 10 to 12 cubic meters would end up costing you net with packing, with everything will end up costing you like about $4,000.
Oh, okay, that's okay. And sometimes companies might also help relocate you, inter-transferring between the company.
Correct. Organizations do have a relocation budget. Normally, if they ask you to relocate, they do pay you for it. Again, I was lucky enough. I asked for it. They still paid for it. So I was very, very fortunate in that case. So I did get a budget which helped me move.
Nice. Okay. So that's the actual physical stuff. But then obviously you had a lot of money and digital assets. Which did you keep it? Did you move it back?
Yeah, so I think for some time I did keep it, and I still have some of it. So for example,
so you can still keep your bank account and everything,
correct,
even though you are not living in
correct. So for example, so there is a couple things there. Now, I think for NRIs who are staying outside of India, coming back to India, there is a provision. I think I need to look it up. We can research it and we can probably point it to the link later on. But I think there is about year and a half to 2 years where you still can maintain your digital assets and your monetary assets out there, and then later on get it back to India if need be. What I ended up doing is, see, I am a guy who is simply wants to feel secure about finances. So I and my father and I, we both think kind of similar, that I like to see my money in front of me. Because I'm not in the US. If something changes tomorrow, if immigration rules change tomorrow and I can't take my money out, I'd be worried. So what I ended up doing is I transferred some money over, like via a money transfer website like Zoom and other Remitly and things like that. And then I had my NRE account here, which I then converted to savings account to start getting my salary in India. But then over time, within the last year, whatever money I had in my savings, for example, in the bank account, I transferred everything over in the last year. Now, we also have something like 401k, or I also had a retirement fund from my company in the US, which I wouldn't have gotten paid out until I was 60, retired at 60. If I wanted to withdraw before that, I'd have to pay up to a 10% penalty on it. So I'll end up losing like 40% of it. I pondered over it. I thought about it. My eventual decision is I took the money out because I didn't think I was going to be there when I was 60. So I don't know what would happen to that fund. I don't know how the economic situation will be. Even from an immigration standpoint, will I be able to take my money out if I'm not there for that long, etc., etc. So I basically withdrew everything. And then transferred everything out here.
Yeah. And I just want to plug Crobo Money is the app that I use now. I've been using it for 8 years to send the money. It's nice, doesn't have any transaction fees and the best conversion rate ever.
Yeah, I wish I had seen it. Oh man. Okay.
I did. I mean, you moved out before I met them. So I know the founder as well. They are in Bangalore actually. But anyway, so money is good. You transferred all of it, some of it, slowly. What about like over here, when you come here, do you have to do things like any documentation, etc.? Because you had to I right now have NRE and NRO account. I don't have like a normal bank checking account, savings account. So do you have to transfer all of that, change your NRE account?
You do. I mean, it's as simple as once your employment starts, you need to go to your bank, get your employment evidence, your offer letters and things like that. Simply submit a form to change the status of your NRE account into a regular savings account or a salary account. So yeah, that's just, it was straightforward.
Any other documentation like Aadhaar card, PAN card?
They do ask for your basic identification documentations. Now, Aadhaar card, like you said, they'll need your PAN information. They'll need your residence address wherever you're staying, whether you own the place or you lease the place. You need the agreements and like rental agreement and things like that.
Nothing like out of box.
No, I don't think it was anything that surprised me or I didn't have.
Yeah. Yeah, like you had to go through hoops or something.
Nah, it was fairly straightforward.
Okay, cool. Is that kind of the roadmap? Figure out, figure out if you want to go back, have a solid reason, intentional setting, then talk to your company, have a number, figure out a job situation, move your physical stuff, digital stuff, and then start moving in this country, in your country back. Anything else you can think of?
This is probably not applicable to everyone, but I have a dog, and I have a little dog which is just like 4 kilos. He's probably sleeping on the couch there. So it's a little bit of a process. I mean, again, doesn't apply to everyone. Fairly simple process. There are agents for that in India that help you through documentation. Long story short, there are 2 important things you need. You need an NOC from the Indian government, the authorities, to allow importing an animal from outside of India to India. And you need medical clearance from your vets in the US. So you take the medical clearance from the vet 10 days before travel, give it to your agent. The agent then applies to DGCA here, and then they issue an NOC. You need that NOC with you in printed or in a soft copy when you land in India. So you normally get that a couple of days before flying. So that's the most important document you need when you come here. And then once you come here, you need to take your dog to their center just to get verified that is the dog, and they do a microchip scan to make sure that's in fact the animal you got. One interesting thing I found out when I was researching this was you can only bring animals into India if you're permanently transferring to India, not if you're temporarily visiting.
Oh, so I can't bring my Bruno back.
I mean, technically you can, but it needs to be an exceptional approval. So you have to write a letter and make your case.
He has to be like a service dog and I have to have it or something.
Correct. You need to have a very compelling case for that to happen. But from a standard process standpoint, and then like a non-exception process, you need to be transferring permanently. And once I did that, all I need to do is find an airline that allows me to take my dog in cabin, because I would never put my dog in cargo. And I flew Lufthansa. I could take my dog in the cabin. Luckily, she's very good on planes. So yeah, then I landed in India, and they would simply ask for that NOC documents. And surprisingly, immigration was very easy for me. Just showed the document, just walked out, nothing per se, and just next day went to the center and they scanned the microchip, and that's it.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's good information for people who may have dogs and they or any animal.
Yep. I mean, if there's a big animal which you can't take in the cabin. Yeah. I mean, like if you say you have like a 40-pound dog which you can't take in the cabin. There are companies who do pet relocation, but again, they will most likely go through cargo, or a longer stretch could be they could go on ships. But again, they'll be in kennels. So if it works, it works.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so now shifting gear, that you are in India, you've been working, you've worked in United States, you know the work culture there, you've worked before in India, and now after working 8 years in United States and working again in India, how is there a work culture difference? And if it is, what is it?
Yeah. I mean, definitely there is a difference. I mean, I'd be lying if I said there isn't any difference. So there are a couple things that make it distinct. One is the organization you work for, and the kind of company you have and the setup is. I'll give you an example. Say you're a product company, say like a Meta or a Google or an Nvidia, or whatever have you, right? A lot of teams work cross-border, which are part of the same team. They kind of do the same work and their goals are similar. In such cases, it's a very easy transition because you're pretty much working with your same team, and I ideally wouldn't expect a lot of shift in terms of the work culture per se, because again, your team remains the same. What will apply in any cases, your timings might be a little odd because you'll be working with, say, US or Europe, or other countries. So you kind of have to work a little later in the day or early in the morning, etc. Now that is one piece of it. Second is now I do consulting, right? So traditionally in consulting, how it has been over the years is you would have your client-facing organization, say in the US, and you would have an offshore center, like we call it in India. So at times the roles are very distinct. It is used to be very distinct that, hey, US we sell, India we try and do technical delivery, right? Now that is a notion that I do see is changing now, where we're almost working on a leverage that, hey, the equal amount of time US spends is what India spends on a client. We become more strategic. We try to upskill our team to do more business development work, strategy work, etc. So long story short, there is a difference in the kind of work depending on the industry you're in. There is a difference in work culture in terms of there's good and bad. Like the good is that I think that in India it's a little more friendly, very easy to make friends at work, very easy to socialize with people at work, which I definitely missed in the US.
But that could be pros and cons both.
It's up to you. Correct.
There's no personal boundaries like in US.
Yeah.
It's very professional. Like it would take time to make friends, but even if you are friends, it's still not like there like how it is in India.
Correct. So yeah, sometimes here it goes a little overboard. You kind of have to have your boundary, but at the same time, I personally enjoy it because I get to make friends at work and get to know more people as well. So that was great for me. I think, and the other thing also is that, and maybe this is more of a con that I've seen with folks around me, friends around me, etc. I think one thing that I wish we did more out here in India is take more ownership of our work. In the sense that I think I do see that culture a little bit, which is a little bit of a con, not to discourage anyone, but I think there is a scope for improvement is sometimes folks would work their 9 to 5, go home, that's it. Care about completing your work, finding a new job after a couple of years, getting more money, that's about it. But I think what people could really benefit from is taking ownership of their work, being a leader in their own work, delivering excellence, because if you do that, money, promotions, ranks, all of that will follow anyway. So I think that is something that I'm seeing happening and growing a little bit, but I would like to see that more.
What do you miss about US?
My car.
Yes. You could have shipped your car too.
I mean, so based on my research, I would have to mechanically change the driving from left to right. So that would have costed a lot of money. Plus, there is a custom duty you'd have to pay for your car, which is I think over 130%.
Oh my gosh. So you would have, instead I would have just buy the same car.
Correct. So I just didn't find it worth it. But anyway, I miss my car and the roads, very good roads to drive on. I do miss some of my friends because I've had a long-standing relationship with a lot of friends out there. So you do miss that. But you lose some, you win some.
What about fresh air?
Oh, fresh air. It's a fair point. Yes.
I say that because my brother stayed with me for a long time in the United States, and a couple months, and he came back, and immediately we entered outside. He's like, I can't breathe. You could see the difference immediately because he stayed in California
for a long time, which is a fair point. I get it. Luckily I'm in Bangalore, and Bangalore is still good. It is moderately polluted. It's not as bad as Mumbai or Delhi, for example. The air quality here on a good day, you'll find it between 90 and 110. It's not the most ideal. I would love to have a 30 AQI index, but it's at least not 200, 250. So I think it's okay.
Yeah, national parks probably, nature in general, I feel.
I do miss national parks. There are national parks here, but again, they're not as curated as they are in the US. Reachability is not that straightforward. Roads are not the most friendly depending on where you're going. So yeah, definitely because NPS being such a big organization, their sole job is to curate them, to preserve them, to protect them. And they do have so much land out there. Here, in fact, There are times where they are burning down forests just to make them urban cities. So yeah, I mean, definitely something that's worth enjoying out there while you have it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and now the final piece of this podcast is you are also a hiring manager. You hire a lot of people. How big is your team?
So I think within the last 1 year that I've been here, I think when I joined we were like 62, 64 or something like that, and in the next month we're gonna cross 100.
Wow. And all of them report up to you.
So yeah, I mean it's interesting. So again, in consulting, you're not only an individual contributor, you're a people manager, so you kind of do both. So depending on your projects, you run your projects, you do delivery, but you also help the team grow, the business grow. So we have a hierarchy where associates roll up to senior associates on their teams, senior associates roll up to managers. So they all kind of report up to managers on their individual projects, and managers are responsible for their growth in the organization, their performance reviews, their feedback, etc. Managers roll up to senior managers, which is me in that case, and we have also a fellow colleague, also another senior manager, and then we roll up to a director.
Okay. And obviously you've been hiring. You've seen the hiring industry, and now that you've hired a bunch of people, this set of questions is for people not necessarily who have 8-10 years of experience and want to move back, but maybe people who are on OPT, first year of OPT, they could not find anything, they are on volunteer job, and they know that they are not going to have a STEM OPT because they can't anymore do unpaid job, so they have to come back. These are those audience who might be thinking of moving back. So I want to understand, what does that job market look like? So these questions, like context for you is that. So first is, what kind of roles do you hire, so that way people know, like context for them as well. And I know you have a bunch of other friends who are also into hiring and all, so you can speak generally as well.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can speak from a consulting standpoint, right? I work for a Big Four, right, for PwC. And I do a lot of work in the cyber risk and regulatory space. I focus on a lot of Oracle implementation work. So it's Oracle security, risk, controls, and that kind of work. There are a lot of areas like in the enterprise space, like SAP, like Workday, like Salesforce. We have our sister teams who do all of that work as well. So a lot of our hiring, when we recruit freshers, for example, it doesn't matter if they have that experience or not. From a college in India. So they come afresh, they get a lot of training. There are also 6 months long internships that we have to groom the interns and then get them to continue full time with us. Now, if we hire experienced hires, then I think it does help to have some sort of implementation experience in the Oracle space or any of these enterprise space, and to have some sort of like audit experience also. Because see, in US, regulations are something that every public organization, every public company has to follow. That is where we come in and we help them to meet the standards, to meet the regulations, to avoid fraud, to avoid risk and things like that. So from the cyber space, coming from any of those areas, as an experienced hire, that definitely helps.
Okay, cool. So now I'm going to give you a bunch of scenarios. Tell me what is possible for them and what would be outcome for these people. Okay, so this is a master's student. They did masters in MIS or information systems or something like engineering management. They were trying to get product management role, consulting roles. They could not get it, but they do have a US degree. And now they are watching this and they are like, oh, Neville is a hiring manager, I'm going to reach out to him. They reach out to you. Do they fall under the same category as fresher if they did not have any prior experience even in India?
Yeah, I mean, tricky question. So if they haven't worked in the industry I work in, I treat them as a fresher. Now, a lot of organizations, a lot of companies have tie-ups with college from where they hire interns and associates. So we do have those tie-ups as well with specific colleges because we want to promote hiring from those colleges, and we have tie-ups with them. Now, if there is somebody, say, who's done an MIS or information systems and has some knowledge of cyber defense and risk and regulations and Oracle ERP systems, etc., enterprise systems, they could still be considered, but they'll still be very close to a fresher.
Okay. And this is for someone who did bachelor's, straight went to master's, and then did not get any job opportunities. So they'll fall under associate level. What would
they would have a very good potential because they would have come from that experience of masters.
They would be slightly higher than someone who's doing bachelor's.
Like logical reasoning, critical thinking, a lot of that will help them grow and grasp things faster.
Yeah. Okay. And then what would be the typical salary range in Big Fours?
I don't want to talk for other companies and other teams also probably, but
we are talking just broad range.
Okay, fair. So say if you're an associate and or a first year coming out of an internship or starting your first year at the organization, you could be paid anywhere between 5 to 7 lakhs as a fresher.
Okay, got it. Now let's add a little bit more complexity to the profile. This person had 2 years of software engineering experience and went for masters, hoping to get out of software engineering to get into consulting or some tech management role, and could not get it because of the brutal job market. Now they want to come back. Do they still fall under the associate, or do they go slightly above?
See, I mean, again, I think the answer remains the same. Sole reason being relevant experience is the most important metric. When I hire managers, when I hire senior associates, what matters is their relevant experience in my field. In consulting, I think that will apply to any field or vertical in consulting. If you don't have the relevant experience, you might have 20 years of experience, you will not get hired as a director or a senior manager if you don't have relevant experience. So, yeah.
What if they are from PwC? They had PwC experience, they went there, they could not get it, they're coming back, but not in the ERP space. They were in some other teams, etc.
I mean, see, there are many roles here that could be similar. See, in India, so there is two entities, right? One is PwC India, which is an organization on its own, because PwC US is different from PwC India. But we also have our acceleration center, which is the offshore team, so to say, like we used to call it. I hate that word. But both of these organizations, both of these entities do have roles that complement what a PwC US would have. For example, not only ERP, there is, we have advisory. In advisory, there is cyber defense. There is there is actual implementation of ERPs. There is analytics. There is product and tech where you're actually a software developer building products. There is tax. There are so many areas where you could use those skills. And I'm pretty sure if you had a job at PwC before, you could probably land a similar profile.
Okay. But they would get slightly higher.
You could, because let's say you were a software engineer for PwC where you worked on, say, internal softwares, right? There are still opportunities for you to be a software developer for PwC where you could be working on products and technologies where you could be developing and writing code, depending on which org you're in. But yes, if you have that experience for a couple of years, then you could be considered for a senior associate or an experienced associate.
Got it. Okay. What about now the situation where this person did have 3 years of experience in United States because they were on OPT and 3 years passed by, none of the attempts they got picked in H1B. They're like, I don't want to play this game, I want to just go back, I'd rather be with family. Would this person, again, what if they don't have relevant experience and they do have a relevant experience? How does that play?
Okay, so if they have a master's, there's two situations here. If they have a master's degree, if they have 3 years of experience before their OPT STEM runs out, they don't have relevant experience. In that situation, what my recommendation would be is you might still get treated as a fresher if you don't know anything about what I do, for example. However, if you have the 3 years of experience and if you like what you do, you could look for a job in that area, right? So that would propel you to a higher level.
Yeah.
right? So that will help you.
Yeah. So if they
Yeah.
had a relevant experience, it will
Yes.
help. It will grow. Their
Correct. So the second situation being, if you have relevant experience, first ask your company to transfer you. If that works, great. Because a lot of organizations, they do care about their people. I mean, I see there are mass layoffs happening in so many companies, but there are also many companies who do care about their people a lot.
Talent management is hard.
Absolutely. So it's a tricky place to be in, but if you do have that opportunity, take it, transfer, and try to transfer at the same or a higher level. So that does help you. If you're ready for it, obviously. But yes, if you have the relevant experience and say you come to me and my team, then definitely that does propel you to a higher level because you're coming with relevant experience.
Okay. Now, what is the hiring process? Like in United States, there's really two big options. One is you see a job position, you apply. Two is networking. You go through conferences or referral, or like you are working in PwC, I'm interested, I could reach out to you and maybe I'll get a referral, etc. How's the job market scene in United States? And I know people use Naukri.com a lot over here, but is there any other platforms you would recommend?
Okay. So in India, right? So yeah, I mean, kind of similar. So for example, go to the careers website, see a position, you like it, you apply, right? Standard process. Referrals do help you a lot out here. If you know someone and if you've spoken to someone, if you have a friend or a family member who's working at an organization you'd like to apply, even if not in the same team, referrals do help. So have them.
What about cold referrals? Like they watch this video now, and there's gonna be a bunch of consultants who are watching this, and they're like, "Shit, I want this now. I'm gonna reach out to Neville. They're gonna try to find you in LinkedIn, etc." They reach out to you. They're like, "Hey, I watched your podcast. Really interested to be part of your team." Would you entertain that message at all?
Yeah, I mean, that was actually the third category I was coming to. Is we do a lot of LinkedIn posts, myself and my recruiting team. We do LinkedIn posts for job positions.
That my team is hiring, kind of thing.
Correct. And that happens at a regular intervals. So you would see something show up on my feed saying that we're hiring for so and so positions, which we are even right now. So to your question, if somebody cold messages me and says that, hey, I saw this, here's my resume, I'm looking for a job. What I do recommend is two things. One, I will look at the resume if you have relevant experience. If you don't have relevant experience and you haven't even seen my profile to see what I do and just randomly send me, you send me a resume that says that, hey, I do Java coding, for an organization that has nothing to do with cybersecurity or ERPs. It's not my field, can't help it. So that I would not entertain, and I honestly just makes sense to do some research before cold messaging someone. If you do have relevant experience, say that. Then send me a resume. I have referred people in the past via that same process. If you have relevant experience, more than happy to refer.
Yeah. What would make a great cold message? Like they are watching this, they saw your post and they're like, all right, this guy we have to interview if you read the message.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think a great cold message would be that, just do a basic introduction about yourself. Hey, this is me. This is my experience so far, and this is what I've been doing in the last whatever years. Do some research. Come back to that. In that cold message, tell me that, hey, I do see this position is open at your team, at your organization. Here's the requisition number. I think I'd be a good fit because I have so and so relevant experience.
And I've read my resume.
And here's my resume, attach it. So that tells me that this person knows what relevant experience means. They've done their research to find the requisition number, and they've sent me a resume that supports whatever they're saying. If you don't send me a resume, if you don't send me a rec number and simply tell me, hey, can you refer me? I am not going to care, because what do I refer you to?
Yeah.
I don't know what you do. I don't know your experience. I don't know what you are looking for. Like, I'm not an agent, right? At the end of the day, I want to help you, but you got to do some homework and then message people.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and even if they can add, maybe if they came from this podcast, they should definitely add points from this podcast. Like, hey, actually, I loved this thing that you talked about. So it shows that you spend time to understand who you are and made it even more relevant to you and him?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always nice to have a good referral point to go back to, make yourself unique. So, say tomorrow, John Doe messages me on LinkedIn and says that, hey, I'm John. Oh, by the way, really cool thoughts on, for example, when you had your luggage shipped, and I saw it in the podcast. That makes me that gives me a very unique memory about John. So that kind of puts you in the spotlight a little bit. That makes me kind of relate to John every time I think about that candidate. That they cared about taking interest, they did their research, and they came with a very personalized message. So that definitely helps.
Yeah, awesome. We didn't talk about so we talked about what you miss about the United States. We talked about what is the culture difference. What do you love about being in India, other than being close to your family?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that being the most important one. I think some of the this is probably just us being spoiled. I think life is very convenient here. It could be good and bad, but I do see the good in it. Yeah, like for example, it still shocks me after being a year in India. For me to walk out my door, go to the main gate of the building and walk out to the street takes about 3 to 4 minutes. I don't understand how I get grocery delivered in 9 minutes. Right? So that way life is convenient. There is so much logistics that has made life easy in cases of emergency and things like that. I love grocery shopping. I would still go, but there is ease of access to things. You get things at your doorstep, so that is convenient. You do get a lot of house help and things like that. That makes life convenient.
You could spend. Again, this depends on it's subjective, but you could spend your time doing something you really want.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's my perspective, right? I mean, see, there has always been a debate of morality in the sense that, hey, do I want to hire someone and make them clean my shit at home? You know what I mean? There could be a question of morality in there, but at the same time, it's their livelihood. Yeah.
I mean, it's no different than hiring an employee to do what you don't want to do.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You treat everybody with respect. There's no way I'm comparing those two together. But at the same time, the house help that I have, she's been doing this for the past 20 years. And she's been doing it literally in the community I live in. This is their livelihood. So I'm more than happy to, get their help, be grateful for it, and pay them for it, right? So life is convenient that way.
Yeah.
I mean, and I like to think that I can use my time more productively to do other things.
Yeah. You're buying time back, like literally. Yeah. That's literally what you're doing. I mean, why do we as in like I hire people and businesses hire people is because they are buying some time back and energy back and brain skills and all of that, so that they can focus on what they truly want.
Yeah.
To do. So,
yeah. No, absolutely understand. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about? Are there anything else that you love about being in India?
I mean, the food is great. I've gained a little weight by moving here. Traffic is a little bad. Yeah. Yes, if you're in. Bad. Yeah, I mean, very bad.
Bangalore.
So Bangalore definitely has really bad traffic. It's been. I don't think the city has gotten a chance to plan its infrastructure with the IT boom that happened over the years. So it's just expanded rapidly without having infrastructure.
Yeah, it's like 15 miles to where my hotel is from your apartment, and it takes like hour 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, it is difficult that way. Driving discipline is a little bad out here. I mean, I used to think Bombay is bad, but I think Bangalore is worse. I think that is one thing that I haven't been very happy about in terms of being in Bangalore, but it is what it is. Everybody's here hustling, living their life. So I figure my ways out. I time when I have to drive and go to office, I leave super early or I leave late, so I can avoid the traffic. So that way I'm fortunate that I have that flexibility at work. So I think it works out.
Yeah. All right. Final 2 questions. First is, what is your final message for someone who might be on the edge of like, I don't know what I'm doing in US. I should probably move back. I feel lonely. Because I know there are so many people who are making good money, who are career-wise also good, like yourself, who had green card in process, yet don't have sense of belongingness, yet don't have community. So after maybe watching this, they are thinking like, Maybe I should move back. What would you want to tell them?
Yeah, I mean, I can give some advice, but I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's their choice. I think if you have decent experience and a decent savings, you could lead a comfortable life in India. I know a lot of people move there with loans. So if you're able to manage that and pay it back and still have some savings, and if you feel that okay, this is it, I'm financially independent right now, and I'm good and I feel good about it, and if family is the reason you want to move, I would say do it. Sole reason being, if family is the only reason that is making you second guess all of this, and if you yourself are not happy from a mental space out there, then I do think it's worth being here, because you're closer to things. There's a more belongingness of community here. That's what I've noticed. So the toughest decision is just to decide to move. Once you decide, you take 6 months, you take 1 year, whatever the time is, everything becomes easy after that. But I mean, I do understand a lot of people come from a place where I've taken so much loan, I need to pay that off, I need to make some more money, so the currency conversion helps them and their families. So I think it's fine doing that, because it helps them financially. But again,
I would think if they are not in those forced situation where they don't have visa and they have to move out and they have a loan, there's nothing they can do.
correct.
But if they have a job and they have a visa and have a loan, unless it's like really brutal condition we don't know about, they should try to pay off the loan.
Yeah.
And even if they don't have saving, that's fine, but like at least pay off the loan, because your salary is going to be drastically low, and paying a US education loan is going to be extremely long.
tough.
And you probably would want a house loan, or rent is going to be
Agreed.
expensive. So
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go there and increase your debt.
yeah.
Right, you would want to go there and come out in a positive versus a negative on your ledger. So while I say that from my personal experience, if you do want to move back to India, do move back. But I mean, I also moved back after 10 years of my life there. I also moved back with savings, without any debt, luckily I was in the positive. So if you're going there, make it worth it. Unless you're filthy rich, doesn't matter. But if you're on a loan and things like that, I do. So it's not only the money. Money is one thing. It definitely buys you and your family financial independence. But the second thing also is that experience the work life there.
Yeah, the culture, the travel, like it's gonna teach you a lot of things.
Exactly, you'll be independent, and you learn so much, which you never would if you just stayed in one small town, one small city, or one metro city.
I mean, you know me from like, I don't know, 15 years ago.
Oh, 2010, yeah, that's right.
You know me, how I was and what I've grown into, and this is something you also told me that that's the place for me to be when we were deciding if I should go to United States. So I do think that you will grow. If anything, you will grow a lot personally. Like there's going to be a lot of self-development.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and I mean, you're a living example. So I mean, nobody can deny that, right? Going from rags to riches. I mean, that's a literal story here. I won't undersell it. So I do agree.
Yeah. What about the people who are forced into this situation where they don't have a choice to come back? I mean, they don't have a choice to stay in United States. They have to come back, and they have to try to figure out a job situation in India. What would be your advice to them?
I mean, if you're forced to get out of there, you have no option.
Right, yeah. Not any advice for coming back, but to survive in the job market in India.
Correct. I mean, see, a lot of people do move to other countries,
Yeah.
like Canada,
Right.
and different places, and you could have decent job prospects there if that works for you, and if that's what you want to do, great, do it. But if you come back to India, then I do think, depending on the industry you are in, there are jobs. Right, the market has been tricky over the years with the current economic state in the US and in India overall. It's not easy, depending on the industry you are in, the kind of technology you are in. I do think there are jobs. The biggest aspect of this is going to be, like I said earlier, sure, you can meet people via LinkedIn and via Naukri, and you can apply online. You can try and find referrals. That will be your easiest path to identifying opportunities and applying for jobs here.
Love it. Awesome. Any final thoughts, words of wisdom?
I mean, I don't know. See, all I would say is life is different for everyone, and you're going to have different experiences, good and bad both. It'll only make you stronger. So go out there. If you're going to the US for education, if you're going out there for work, go out there, live the most of it. And the day you're thinking you want to come back with your head held up high, because it is not a step down. But would I change anything from my past? I don't think so, because my experience was great. It is definitely worth going out there and learning a lot of things, being independent. So yeah, I mean, just go for it.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you so much again for not just for this podcast, but for being my best friend for life. And I'm excited for what life is about to bring for both of us. But again, thank you so much. I can't wait to bring you back. But until our next one.
Thank you so much, and keep smiling, keep hustling.
Nice. Okay.